Today, this devotional is called One Bad Apple Hurts Everyone. And the Bible verse is going to come from two locations. It's going to come from two different scriptures. Proverbs Proverbs 13:20 and being a little slow today. Romans 12:2. So those are the two verses that we're going to have. It's said that one bad apple can a lot. A bad attitude spreads faster than a good one. It's funny how negative attitudes affects us more profoundly than positive ones. People tend to want to make others feel just as bad as them, bring everybody down to their level. They just kind of suck the life out of the room and kind of life out of everybody around them. Whether it's at work, whether it's at a public event, whether it's a family function or church, bad attitudes spread like wildfire. It's easy to just cave in and say, well, I'll just join them. It's not worth the effort to try and make them happy. They'll eventually change their minds, their attitudes, and usually when they do, suddenly everyone around them is in a bad mood. You've seen it time and time again. One person's in a horrible, horrible mood, and you try to cheer them up, and it doesn't work. So all of a sudden, you start feeling the same way. And all of a sudden, they seem to perk up, and then they wonder why everybody else is in a bad mood. Well, what are we supposed to do as Christians when we encounter people with bad attitudes? If you think about where you go in your day, I can imagine there's a lot of different places that have negative attitudes. There's a lot of places where the negative far outweighs the positive. Bad attitudes change people and corrupt them to the point that they become that old negative person in your life. How many times in movies, TV shows, books, do we encounter that crotchety old person that lives in that old beat up house that has a horrible attitude that nobody wants to be around? Have you ever thought that maybe they have that attitude because they only surround themselves with other negative people? You see, Proverbs 13:20 says, "He who walks with the wise grows wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm." The New Living Translation says, "Whoever walks with the wise will become wise. Whoever walks with fools will suffer harm." The people we associate with, the things we watch and listen affects our attitudes. If we hang out with people who look at the negative more than the positive, we surely are going to have an impact on your mind. It's going to have an impact on your mindset. So choosing your friends is important not only for yourselves, but for them as well. So what are we supposed to do? Not everyone we associate with are Christians, and I'm sure that not all of your friends in your little circle are going to be saved or be Christians either. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and prove what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." Romans 12:2, as the New Living Translation says it even better. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world. But, there's always that big but. Let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you'll know what God wants you to do, and you will know how good and pleasing and perfect he really is. We are charged to be in this world, but not of this world. Our identity and attitude is one of Christ. It's easy to be conformed to the world around you, but the changes come through Christ in all that we do. We have an opportunity to stop a bad attitude from spreading before it affects the others around us. A smile, a laugh, a good story, sometimes making fun of yourself. Just a few examples of what you can do, but above all, love on the people. So as you go through this week, step back from your daily situations of your life, see how many of them are actually bad apples, and see if you can inject some positivity into them. Let's turn those frowns